Alright, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Google Ads ad copy. Now, ad copy just means what the ad actually says, so the words that you actually write when you create your ads. And the reason this is important is because this is what the person is going to see when they see the ads on the page. So that's what's going to represent your company compared to the next person's ad. And you have to compete for that person's click, basically. So if what you're writing is more persuasive and it makes the person want to click and see what you're about instead of the next person, then that could be the difference between getting the lead and not getting the lead. So there's a few things to keep in mind when writing the ad. I'm going to go through them here. But first, let me talk about why it's actually important to have a high number of clicks on your ad. Now, the reason it's important is because the higher your click-through rate, which basically just means how many people out of every 100 who see the ad actually click on it. So the numbers is a percentage. If you've got a 12% click-through rate, which is really high, and that means that 12 out of every 100 people who see your ad click on it. So the reason that you want to have a high click-through rate is because you're paying for every click. That means Google gets paid for every click. And when that happens, when basically they see that your ad is getting a lot of clicks, they're going to start to favor your ad more, and they're going to show your ad more compared to your competitors. And they'll also even give you a lower cost per click when you do that. So they're going to start to favor you more, and you're going to get a lower cost per click. And you get what's called a higher ad rank. So basically your ad will start to show up even higher on the page compared to, because there's 3 spots at the top, they'll show your ad up even higher because they can clearly see, because people are clicking on it, that this is what people want, so they'll show it up even higher, which will lead to you getting even more clicks. So that's the basic idea. Now, kind of the elephant in the room with writing ad copy is AI. And you might be thinking, why would I even bother to do this myself if I can just, put a prompt into ChatGPT and get some ad copy spit back at me as long as I make sure it's within the character limit. And the reason is that you still need to know what people are searching for. You need that prompt that you write in to be good in the first place, which means that you need to understand what your customers are searching for, what problems they're trying to solve, so you can get the most persuasive ad copy given back to you. So the thing with AI is, I'm not actually going to go into how to do it into ChatGPT. With the things I'm going to go over in this video, it's pretty obvious what you type into ChatGPT. But like I said, it's important to actually know what to prompt it in the first place. Because the thing with AI is that everybody has it. Everybody can use ChatGPT. But the difference is in the person who writes the prompt. How good what you actually ask it is. So it'll give you back a good answer that'll resonate with your target audience. All right, now let's get started. So first thing to keep in mind is that you want to have message match between the keywords that you've got in your Google Ads account, between the ads, and between the landing page. So I talked about this more in the video where I showed how to set up the campaign in the first place. But basically, you've got the keywords. So let's say you're targeting interior painting keywords. You want the ad to talk about interior painting. And then when people click on that ad, they go to a landing page talking about interior painting. Now, the reason is that when someone searches for, painting services, they've usually only got one thing in mind, It's usually either interior or exterior. Usually it's just one service. So they're not looking for everything that you offer. Now, you can mention it in the landing page, but it shouldn't be the full focus. The main focus should be the thing that they actually searched for, the thing that they're most likely to click on. So that's why you want to have this congruence between the keywords, the ads, and the landing page. So that's the first thing that you want to keep in mind. Now, the second thing is you want to try to answer the search query in the ad. So for example, like I said, the search painting company in area, you want your ad copy to say, looking for a paint company in area. Now, you might not be able to actually fit that with the character limit, but you get the idea. So another important part of this is that you want to be adding in negative keywords. I made a video on that. I'll link it here. It should be on the right or the left. So that's how you can make sure that you're only showing up for the right searches. And you should also have your keywords set in exact match. I went over this in more detail in the main video. So that's the second to keep in mind. And the third is you want to have clear calls to action. Okay? So yeah, you want to have message match, you want to answer the search query, but you have to make it clear to people what you want them to do. So you can have something like call now, get a free quote, book your estimate. You want to have the next steps basically spelled out for people. You want them to do as little thinking as possible, So maybe something like get on our calendar, whatever. Something that shows them what the next step they need to do is. The fourth thing is you want to make your ad stand out on the page. Now, the reason that this is important is you're going to be shown alongside one thing is all the other ads and the local service ads on top, which you should be running already, and the websites. So you want to make your ad stand out among all this competition. And the way you can do that is by using symbols and numbers. So for example, you can have something like, number one painters in area, you know, or you can use a dash, a slash, or a dash, or the and symbol, or an exclamation point. Now, the thing with exclamation points, I'm going to give examples for all of these later. The thing with exclamation points is I think there are rules about how often you can use it, but I think once or twice is perfectly fine, Something like get a quote now with an exclamation point, I think that's perfectly fine. And by the way, here are the examples of the symbols that I said you can use, and the numbers as well. So you can write something like 5-star rated, pros, with, you see I use the slash there, and the numbers again, 20 years experience, licensed and insured, use the symbol. Again, these are just things that are going to make the text sort of jump out from the page instead of just a bunch of letters. That'll really catch someone's eye and it'll make them more likely to click on it. So the next thing is you want to give customers a solution to their problem and reasons to go with you. Like I said, it's all about getting the click away from the competition. So don't just run we exist ads. So basically these are ads that are like, painting company in area, 25 years in business, rated best or whatever. You want to give them reasons to go with you. Although to be honest, the rating is a reason to go with you, but still, you want to give them more than that. You want to talk about your availability, okay? So maybe type something right, like, you know, get your project done in the next 2 weeks, or response times, get a call back within 2 hours, within 30 minutes, however quick you can do it. Basically, you want to give them a reason to go with you instead of the competitors. The other thing that you need to have in mind is the different customer types. Now, if you've been in business a long time, you've dealt with all types of people, you've probably noticed that there's these archetypes. People don't all want the same thing. They don't all care about the same thing. And you have to be able to speak to different groups of people. So, for example, there's customers who are more logical. So for these people, you want to have your ad copy catering towards them. If that's the people that you want to attract more than, maybe another group. So you want to talk about the financing you offer, if you offer it, great value, your license and insurance, any warranty or guarantees you offer, the reviews you have, the happy clients you've got, things like that. And there's also people who are status sensitive. You want to talk about your awards, your portfolio or gallery, so all your befores and afters, and happy clients, things like that. Obviously, there's going to be some overlap between these groups. It's not like they're not perfectly separate, but generally you can categorize customers into these different camps. And, another one is people who prioritize quality. And, this is probably your favorite type of customer to deal with. These people are willing to pay a premium for good work. So you want to talk about your quality, your attention to detail, about how you don't cut corners, about how you use only the highest quality materials, about skilled, experienced painters, and maybe some other services that you offer like color consults, custom finishes, things like that. Okay. Now, obviously, like I said, this last group of people, they might be the easiest to sell to in your experience. So maybe you want to have most of your ad copy talking about these things, talking about quality, attention to detail, and all these kind of things. These are the things that you want to keep in mind when you're creating your ad copy, even if you're using ChatGPT to do it, which I recommend you do. There's no reason to sit there and try to think of all this stuff yourself. As long as you've done the research, basically, you know the kinds of people you want to attract, and you're giving them reasons to go with you. You're talking about your availability, your response times, things like that. Then you should be getting a good click-through rate. And as far as the click-through rates that you should be looking for, the numbers are 1 to 3% is considered normal. Again, this will depend on the volume. So if the 1% can be just decent, if there's a lot of volume, maybe you're targeting a really large area. But if it's a really small area, then it might not be enough to do with. You want it to be higher than that, maybe 6 or 7. But generally, 1 to 3 is considered fine. 3 to 5 is great, and 5 to 10 is excellent. And anything over 10 is just, it's pretty unique. Honestly, you shouldn't be, surprised if you don't get up there. But yeah, just aim for a 3 to 10, I would say, or anything over 3. That's a good range to aim for. Now, the last things I want to show you, just one more thing that you should keep in mind when you're doing your research. All right, so the last thing you want to keep in mind is you want to actually get an idea of what people want from their painters. And the best way to do that is to take a look at some Google reviews, maybe even your own reviews, or you can just look at other companies if you haven't gotten that many. And basically, you want to see if there are any words that come up, any things that people mention often. So if you go on Google, they actually do this already for you. People often mention, they're obviously going to mention these kind of words, but you'll see that they mention the project manager quite often. So basically, what this means is see words like professionalism, punctuality, quality, responsiveness. So you just read through all of these and you'll notice that people want certain things from their service providers. And you can basically use those words in your ad copy. So if you read through a lot of these, you'll notice a common theme. Things like friendly, informative, these kind of words, good communication. These are going to show up often. And you don't just want to read the good reviews. I think you should take a look at the 3 and 4-star reviews as well. Again, you'll notice that there's some common patterns, and you might want to, work that into your ad copy. Things like punctual, all these kind of complaints people might have about painters, or previous bad experiences they've had. You can try to reassure them before they even click on your ad. Alright, so that's everything I've got for this video. If you've got any questions about writing ad copy or any of the Google Ads questions, then feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you need any help with your Google Ads campaigns, maybe you're already running them or you're thinking about running them, then go to my website in the linked comment below. I'll have it pinned at the top, and find a time on my calendar and we can talk, see if there's a space to work together. Alright, see you in the next video.